with Dr. Raul Garcia, who is running for governor for the state of Washington in the Republican Party. So Dr. Garcia, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? And then I've got a question about why you're running.
Sure. My name is Dr. Raul Garcia, and I'm running for governor. I have been here in Washington 13 years. I was recruited to come here and help start one of the medical schools in Yakima, Washington 13 years ago as one of the deans. I was born in Cuba, had an experience in Cuba that was not pleasant. I lived under totalitarian dictatorship that took my family's land, that took my mother's licenses to practice teaching and nursing. I was taught since very little that the only government, the only God in the world was government, something that I didn't agree with. And I came to this country where we have the opportunity to work hard and create opportunities and open doors and have the freedom to do the things that we want to do, not what the government tells us to do. So I'm very grateful to this flag. This is why I've always wanted to be in public office, to one day give back to this flag for everything that it did for me as a skinny kid that didn't speak English, that worked hard and became a doctor and became a leader in his profession, led national and state organizations. So that's a little bit of me. I have a lovely wife who grew up in Ellensburg. I have 5 children in a blended family. One of those is an exchange student from Spain that decided to stay with us throughout her high school years. And we have 4 other children, the oldest 22 and the youngest 4. And that's our family. We live in Yakima. I practice in the Tri-Cities. I'm a director of emergency medicine, as well as having my own small business in Yakima, a wellness clinic that we have in Yakima.
How do you address what's happening today with COVID-19?
So I think there has been a lack of education by the government. I think that that's the government's job, to educate the most it can its citizens, so the citizens know what's going on and panic and fear doesn't set in. I think panic and fear set in, and we made a lot of decisions because of that panic and fear. I think that we didn't know enough about it, so people were afraid, including the government, I believe, and I was one of the first people that said, hey, let's give Jay Inslee and President Trump a break. This is an unprecedented event. And that's what happened at first, but little by little, there were things that happened that I didn't like. We first didn't shield our most vulnerable population. So that is the first thing you do in a pandemic, and unfortunately, human lives were lost that lived in nursing homes. Then we went over the first wave, and our hospitals were ready to treat patients, but we had none. And I thought that was the time to release the population back out responsibly, to restart our economy. That didn't happen. I just didn't see an interest in the balancing of the life of people and the life of our businesses. One of the reasons why I jumped in the race. And then I saw a government that mandated a lot but didn't educate enough. That reminded me a lot of my first experience when I was growing up in Cuba. So pretty much why I'm here, standing with my 2 feet and saying, no, we have to defend this freedom with everything we have. And we have to make government what it should be. Government is here to open opportunities to help people and businesses prosper, not to limit our growth. Government is here to walk hand by hand with us and make us have a better future. And I think that we can change that. We can change this government, which is the largest in Washington state, to an efficient, accountable government, because accountability is something that has been questioned lately. When we have millions of dollars being stolen, when we have projects that don't come out correctly and no one gets fired, these kind of things can't happen. We need accountability, and we need decisive leadership. Decisive leadership so we don't have what we had in Seattle, so we don't have lawlessness in the street. We have the right to protest under the Constitution, but we don't have the right to be criminals. And that needs to be dealt with decisively. So I think that we can change Washington to a better future. I'm here to help do it. I need everybody's help with me, but I think that we can achieve it together.
Now, as a doctor, in dealing with this current spike we have in the virus statewide, well, maybe not statewide, but in many key areas, how do you address that if you were governor or even as a doctor?
Sure. So now the solution is to help the medical personnel.
Right.
Help the medical personnel make sure that they have the right equipment and the right numbers. And if you do that, we can ride this wave until it fizzles out. That's what should have been done, I think, 11 weeks ago. But let's say that, well, I mean, we can't play Monday morning quarterback today. We need to find solutions today, and that's the solution, to help the medical personnel, because people are out. And people are out for the simple reason that they feel that their mental sanity is more important than even getting this virus. So that is why we've had a spike, and we continue to see numbers come up. But thankfully, the death rate is way down and the hospitalizations are way down.
Where do we go from here? Do we open up more, or do we stay semi-closed, or how do we do?
No, I think we open. I think we open responsibly. I think we certainly can do that. I think we should have done that already, and certainly for the life of these businesses that remain closed, that remain, this is people's dreams. This is a piece of that American dream that I came to this country for. So we can do that responsibly and open the economy again and help the healthcare personnel. That would be my answer right now.
And what about face masks? There's a great debate on their efficiency and their usefulness, and you know, the CDC and the WHO had said months ago that don't use them if you're healthy. So why the about face? Is the science changing? Is it political? What do you think?
No, I think it's become a political football, basically. You know, I wear a mask in a closed space if I have anybody around me that's vulnerable, that I may be giving them something that I was exposed to. And of course, being a doctor and being in the hospital and being a candidate and meeting so many people, I probably was exposed. So I would wear a mask in a closed space so that that droplet doesn't run out of my mouth into their body and then they touch it and bring it to their mouth. Or in a supermarket where I would talk and maybe an air droplet would fall on a mango and that mango is picked up by someone else. The second reason I would wear a mask is because if you're more comfortable with a mask, you're more comfortable and you feel safe that I wear a mask, is not a big deal for me. Now, I understand why it's become a political issue, and I understand the freedom that we have as citizens to choose. So what I would want is for the government to give all the information so we can make those decisions.
And have you had any political experience before?
So I worked for Senator Bob Dole, and one of the greatest politicians that I could learn under. And I always had that love that one day I was going to be in public office. So I've been preparing myself in executive positions all my life to today. I have learned that how you succeed as a leader is not to control everything, and it is not to know everything, but it's to put the right people in place and hold them accountable. And that is how we can run government, the same way.